Good evening. Happy Friday to everybody. I know that we're all anxious to get our weekend started. Unfortunately, First Alert Weather Day is in place for the start of the weekend. It's been in place for this afternoon. Those showers have gradually migrated into the region, and they've been getting heavier. If you've stepped outside over the course of the last few minutes, you're noticing steady, moderate showers are pushing through the region. I'm not going to hold you much with an introduction, but I do want to welcome you into our little chat this evening, whether you're joining us on our YouTube live stream or if you're joining us on any one of our digital streaming platforms on our ANF Plus app. Thank you for joining us. Let's dive right into it. Scattered rain moving into the area. Take a look at First Alert radar. You can see lots of yellow out there. That yellow is indicating steady showers that are pushing through the area. It's getting wet out there and will continue to increase as far as the coverage and the intensity. There have been some updates over the course of the last few hours where we've been getting some data in that's been suggesting that we could see the heaviest of the downpours along and south of the I-20 corridor. So there has been a shift in that axis of heaviest precip. Also watching for the very low end risk for severe weather. I'll be completely honest with you. It's something we haven't really been talking about a whole lot over the course of the day because we've seen an east breeze move into our area. An east breeze has been cooler, a little bit drier. And as we've been watching these showers and thunderstorms move through portions of Alabama, as soon as the storms hit that east breeze, they start to fizzle. They lose their energy. They lose their lightning. So still some heavy downpours out there, but that risk for those stronger severe storms continues to diminish. So that's something that we're going to continue to monitor through the night, but that's definitely a trend in the right direction for anybody who typically want to make sure my volume was up. Anyone who typically gets out and about late evening, whether you're getting into the streets or whether you're going to work third shift. I do want to talk about some of this heaviest rain. I want to dive into the city of Atlanta because you can see that yellow really dominating a large part of the perimeter. So it's constant showers from Atlanta to East Point into Stone Mountain, all the way towards Austell. If you were thinking about driving on I-20, east or west, probably not the best idea, as it's really going to just be annoying. The rain going to force you to have to throw those windshield wipers on. But I know some folks have to get out and about, so you'll just want to use your caution. I'm not telling you to stay home. It's not that type of situation, but just be aware that you're going to be running into those heavier downpours. And you can see south and west of the city, you'll start to see some of those oranges building in, and that's going to indicate even heavier rain. I'm looking at you in Troup County. LaGrange really getting hammered with heavy downpours right now, and that's going to gradually shift towards the east-northeast. So that's going to move into Meriwether County, scraping the southern portion of Coweta County, and then eventually making its way towards Spalding and Fayette counties. So heavy downpours going to be possible to come in waves through the overnight as this steady rain just continues to blanket and move through our region. Looking to the northern part of the state, not leaving anybody behind. I'm looking at you in Ellijay, where you are getting some rain that's a little bit heavier than what you've seen for the last hour or so. But if you're in Canton, Gainesville, Turnerville, even down towards Rome, that rain has really relaxed a whole lot. It's light showers, but it will increase in intensity over the course of the next few hours. You can see that's moving in a general east-northeast direction. So we'll talk about more rain getting heavier for you over the course of the next 2 or 3 hours. I mentioned that there's a low end risk for severe weather. It's very low. We're talking about it because the Storm Prediction Center has put that risk out there. But based off of all of our analysis here in home, we have a team of 7 of us. We're looking at a lot of the dynamics of the atmosphere here in the city, but down in LaGrange, out in Thomaston, Athens, everybody really under that east breeze. And that east breeze really is serving to cut off a lot of the energy. It's drying out the cells from being turbulent. So the risk for severe weather, at least through the night, is looking very, very low. We'll watch 4, 5, 8, 6 o'clock in the morning to see if there's some regeneration of the stuff that's to the south and west. But for now, very, very low end risk for that. Something that we're concerned about, though, is the potential for flooding. That's something we've been talking about for the last couple of days. Heavy rain. I was just talking to Fred and Cutter in the back just now about this month. It's March. We're 8 days in. Today is the 8th day. 4 of the 8 days, we have had significant rainfall at the airport. And depending on how the next 3 hours shape up, we could see each one of those days recording at least an inch. One of those days over 2 inches. So it's just been a very, very wet month. We had a wet week. We picked up nearly 4 inches of rain in some places across portions of the city and the metro. And then we're adding another inch to maybe 4, depending on where you are tonight. Yeah, the risk for flooding is definitely something that is there. That's something that we're concerned about. So if you are getting out and about through the overnight, especially later on tonight, be aware of that. And then even once this water all settles down on Saturday, because that's the timing, we're going to be watching the water flow into creeks, streams, rivers. And that's going to cause those water bodies to rise. So we're already seeing several rivers at minor flood stage. That'll probably continue. If you were with us last night, we talked about a couple of rivers that were forecast to hit moderate flood stage. The guidance has dialed back a little bit on that, but that's something we'll continue to monitor as we head through your weekend. Here's that hour by hour. Scattered rain continuing to build into the area. 9 o'clock snapshot shows that, that yellow wall is just really dominating with reds embedded in there. That's going to be the heavier downpours sliding closer to the city as we approach midnight. And even as we head into the morning hours, heavy rain will be around 1, 2, 3 o'clock when y'all are leaving the clubs or the streets. Although personally, I don't think anybody's really getting out that late. But if you are, no judgment, just have an umbrella. By 5, 6 o'clock, those showers will gradually start to diminish. We're still going to have a rain chance, but it's going to be more isolated, so it won't be this big blob of water that is hitting almost everybody. It's going to be more isolated, so you'll just have to dodge some showers if you're traveling to and fro. Here's that 7 o'clock time frame for Saturday. I'll be asleep, but some of y'all will be awake, and there's going to be some scattered showers, especially south and east. Stray rumble of thunder will be possible with that in the morning. By 12 o'clock, we lose the bulk of that energy. Winds are out of the west at 12 o'clock. As we head into the afternoon, we'll eventually get a shift. We'll get some breaks in the clouds. That'll get us into the upper 60s. Some locations will hit 70 degrees on Saturday afternoon before we start to trend cooler. That northwest wind is going to be aggressive, especially as we head into Sunday, gusting 30, 35 miles per hour at times. So that's going to usher in some cooler air. And even when it's not gusting, which, gusting is just that momentary gust, we will have sustained winds 15 miles per hour or so across the region. So that's going to make it feel chilly on Sunday. So just heads up. If you have plans for Sunday fun day, you saw that 59 and you thought you were going to wear your T-shirts. Not with this 59. Let's talk about these rain totals. We're talking about widespread 1 to 4 inches. You can see that yellow kind of hanging out along most of the perimeter and areas north. But once you get to that southern leg of the perimeter and points to the south, and that's why we kept saying the I-20 corridor, we do think that areas along I-20 and south have that best chance of getting roughly 2, 3, maybe even some isolated totals up to 4 inches of rain out of this system, depending on how these storms set up. So we're really going to be watching that southern part of our viewing area. I'm looking at you in Carroll County. I'm looking at you in Coweta County, Clayton, Fayette counties, down towards Newton, all of those counties. That's where our biggest potential for flooding will be. That's not to say that it won't exist in the city, because we know these streets, we know these potholes, we know these curbs, we know these areas that if it rains half an inch, there's going to be ponding. So that's going to be something that we're watching as well. It's just going to be the greatest potential. The most frequency will probably be along I-20 and points to the south. And that's that shift in that axis that we were mentioning. I mentioned it being chilly and breezy on Sunday, and here's your out-the-door forecast for Sunday. Heading to church Sunday morning at roughly 8, 9 o'clock. It's going to be in the low 40s, but it will feel like the mid-30s. So bundle up. You're going to need that jacket. We'll get into the low 50s as we get closer to brunch time, getting into the mid-50s for most of us. I think we'll be closer to 59 at the airport, but once again, that feel-like number is probably going to be in the low 50s through the day. So I wouldn't say stay home on Sunday, because there's going to be a little bit of sunshine out there. Just know that it's going to be a little chilly. Sweater weather. You want to go to brunch, wear a sweater. I think that Sunday's going to be the sweet spot in the weekend forecast as far as the skies are concerned. Although Saturday afternoon, roughly 4 or 5 in the mid to upper 60s is going to feel better. So if you're okay with clouds and a few breaks in the clouds with some sun and damp roads and stuff, Saturday may be your day. We all have different tastes. I know a lot of y'all are on the stream right now. Drop down in the comment sections, because I'm reading there if you have any questions. But also tell me, do you prefer partly cloudy and 60s, or do you prefer sunny and 50s? Let me know. That's going to be, I'm going to start doing this every night, asking a themed question, so that I can get y'all to talk with me, and then we can just kind of laugh about it, have a little moment. Anyways, extending the forecast out to Wednesday, the numbers start to look better. We'll get into the 70s. We'll see a little bit more sunshine. We'll get some drying. We'll expect more clouds to build in by Thursday. and we issued a new first alert weather day for Friday. This is a system we've been watching for several days for several reasons, because a large part of the Atlanta News First team will be actually in the St. Patrick's Day parade that weekend, which is the day after Friday. And this system has been there for the last 2 days, roughly Friday, Saturday. So it looks like it's sped up a little bit with the latest data that came in today from a bunch of our models. Right now, we have issued that first alert weather day for Friday. This is the snapshot at 4 o'clock. This is subject to change. That's a whole 7 days away from now. But it's something that we want to put on your radar that we're watching. And as soon as we get a fix on that timeline, which will be the closer we get to that event, we'll break that down for you. Hopefully, we can get it in and get it out, because I want to go to this St. Patty's Day parade on Saturday. For now, it looks like it's going to be rainy, especially Friday afternoon into the evening, which is unfortunate because it's rainy this Friday. Scattered rain, downpours moving through the area. That's prompted that first alert weather day. We're going to continue the first alert weather day tomorrow, but I want you to understand we're talking about rain potential through about noon. After noon, the rain chances are going to diminish to about 10-20%. It's going to be real spotty, but we're going to keep the first alert weather day going because there will be some rivers and creeks and streams that are going to continue to rise a little bit. We're not talking Armageddon here, but we are talking about there being some alerts. If you have the first alert weather app on your phone, if you live near one of these creeks or streams, you may get an alert for a minor flood warning. A lot of times when we get minor flood warning, this ends up flooding like walkways, paths. I don't know if you like to run. I like to do a lot of outdoor running, and sometimes my runs take me along creeks and canals and stuff like that. Typically, when you're in minor flood stage, the water kind of climbs onto your typical running path next to those creeks. So that's something that we'll be watching, obviously, through the next 12 hours or so. It's going to be a little hit or go, 12, 24 hours. But things will trend drier by late day Saturday, chilly on Sunday and breezy. And then the numbers get better to start off the work week. We'll have a nice little dry stretch. Nobody's in the comments telling me if they like cloudy in 50s or sunny, cloudy in 60s or sunny in 50s. It's okay. It's Friday night. I'm going to give y'all a pass. Y'all are doing what I'm going to be doing when I clock out. So, but the numbers get better. I think Wednesday is going to be one of the sweet spots in the forecast, mid-70s with a good amount of sun. The clouds are going to build back by Thursday, but we're still in the upper 70s, so it's going to feel phenomenal out there. And then, of course, the rain chances that return early next week. So hopefully this chat was informative about the rain that's moving through the area right now and will continue to move through the overnight. We mentioned that the axis of heaviest rain has shifted a little bit further south. We do believe that it's going to be some of our communities that are along I-20 and point south that get the heaviest rain out of this event. We're still talking about roughly 1 to 4 inches of rain across a large chunk of our area. Obviously, the higher totals will be south of along and south of I-20, which, like we said, we mentioned that severe weather risk has diminished. It's not zero, but it's not where it was yesterday, which is great news. We're looking at a lot of our parameters in the atmosphere. This east breeze really kind of taming down the atmosphere. We've watched storms that have been moving in from Alabama run into that east wind and essentially fizzle and lose all of their lightning and lose their energy. So still rain, but the wind and the thunder and the lightning aspect of this has decreased as soon as those storms have run into that east wind. So as long as that continues for the next few hours, that's going to keep us in a situation where we're just going to be dealing with rain. We do expect there to be some rumbles of thunder through the overnight, but we expect that risk for the winds to be 60, 65 to be greatly reduced. Part of that conversation means being very frank. The grounds are saturated. If you were with us, 3 to 4 inches of rain a couple days ago in some places, another 1 to 3 tonight in most. Some locations are getting another 4. That doesn't mean that we won't see down trees, because with the grounds being saturated and this being Georgia, it won't take anything but a 25, 30 miles per hour wind gust to potentially knock down an old tree. So that's something we're going to be on the lookout for. We don't expect that to be a widespread thing. Nonetheless, our whole goal is to just give you a big picture of what we're tracking through the overnight. And hopefully that's of some use to you. We do this nightly show every night at 8 o'clock, regardless to whether you get that push from our First Alert weather app or the A&F app. whether you get that push alert or not, we are here streaming on YouTube, and we are here on our digital channel every night at 8, giving you a breakdown of the forecast. And honestly, when the forecast is good, we just have a good time and laugh. And if this is your first time joining, you'll know I'm a little funny, I'm a little petty, and I'm very country. So hopefully that's enough to keep you joining us. And if not, I'll just let you see the 7-day forecast, because I know you didn't come here to see me anyway. You guys have a fantastic Friday. Stay safe. Drive safe if you're getting out in the streets tonight. And we will have an update for you tonight at 11 o'clock on Atlanta News First. We are doing team coverage on Atlanta News First at 11, me and meteorologist Patrick Pete, but we also have our reporters out in the field, and they're going to give you some live looks at some of the scenes that they're coming across. Obviously, the rundown of the news. There's still a lot of things that are happening in the newsroom behind me. There's a bunch of people here diving into the news of the day and getting you prepared for the weekend. So I'll catch you later. Have a good night.